Do you know which suburb of Orlando is Central Florida's best kept secret? I mean, there are so many suburbs of Orlando and so many have so much to offer, so why is this one so special? Well, today I'm going to share a few reasons why Lake Helen, Florida is a little known hidden gem here in Central Florida. Be sure to stick around for number 4 and find out why Lake Helen, Florida is considered the gem of Florida. First, let's address the location. Lake Helen is located just east of Deland, right next to I-4, about 35 minutes north of central Orlando, 45 minutes to Disney and all the attractions, and under 30 minutes southwest of New Smyrna and Daytona beaches. Historic downtown Deland is just 15 minutes up the road, and all the shopping, restaurants, and nightlife and jobs you can imagine are down in Sanford and Lake Mary, about 25 minutes away. Getting to I-4 from Lake Helen is very easy, and you can count on getting there without traffic. Some cities like Sanford or Lake Mary are right next to I-4 too, but traffic is a real thing down there, so it may take you an additional 10 or 15 minutes just to go a couple miles to the highway. I'm Chuck Shaver, and I'm a local realtor and resident here in Central Florida. If you're finding value so far here, please take just a second and hit that like button. It shows your support for this channel and the work that I'm doing here. Next, let's address affordability. Lake Helen is mostly single-family residential homes without much in the way of townhomes, condos, apartments, or homeowners associations. With the way home prices have risen in recent years, so many have simply been priced out down in Orange and Seminole counties, and they're often heading up here to the West Volusia area, and they look in Deland, Deltona, Debary, and Orange City to find homes they can simply afford. Lake Helen is really tucked away, and it's an afterthought to so many people, many of which have never even heard of Lake Helen. However, homes here in Lake Helen tend to be more moderately priced than those cities I just mentioned. At the end of last year, the median sale price in Lake Helen was right around $325,000, whereas it was closer to $340,000 over in Deland and over $400,000 down in Lake Mary. Now don't go thinking that Lake Helen is some rundown area, because it's not. There are plenty of very nice estate-style homes here, and although some of Lake Helen's gorgeous historic homes were built in the late 18 and early 1900s, there are plenty of newer homes too. The Woods of Lake Helen is one neighborhood with newer homes that tend to run from the mid-5s to the mid-600s. What if you just want some space between you and your neighbor? Maybe you just like to be able to see the bright stars at night. Well, Lake Helen has plenty of that. Unlike most of the Orlando suburbs, Lake Helen has plenty of land, and an equestrian life can be a thing here too. They've got the Lake Helen Equestrian Park, which has a main arena, an 18-stall barn with a covered multi-purpose area, a judging booth, and a multi-purpose trail too, and there's plenty of farms all around this area. Lake Helen is one of the few areas here in Central Florida that really seems to appreciate this country lifestyle. Finding 5 or 10 acres can be a very difficult task when my customers want land down closer to Orlando, but here in Lake Helen they've got plenty of it, and it's generally inexpensive. You got to be careful though, some of the land here in Lake Helen is in flood zones. Lake Helen has their own city government too, and it can be tricky navigating some of their red tape if you want to build something on that land. If you're finding value here, then hit that subscribe button and click that little notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I post other videos just like this. Also, if you've got questions about Lake Helen or any other here in Central Florida, feel free to pick up the phone and give me a call. So I've addressed the great location, the affordability, and the ability to get a little ground between you and your neighbor. But there are other areas here in Central Florida that have at least one of those. But I don't know of a single other city that has the small town charm like that of Lake Helen. When I'm in Lake Helen, it's sort of like living in small town Mayberry. Yes, they've got their own police department, city hall, and utilities department, but their downtown district is really something more like from the 60s, and there's practically zero traffic, and traffic lights aren't a thing here either. Now, I don't mean that it's old and decrepit or it's podunk. It's just small and quiet with a real charming feel about it. The big event in Lake Helen to me is Butler's Express, which is just a train truck thing, maybe it's a trolley, that takes everyone around to see Lake Helen's Christmas lights while singing Christmas carols. We've done that for years, and it's a highlight for my family, and even though it's way bigger now than it once was, it's still very nice. They've got the market in the park on Saturday mornings, the Strawberry Festival, they do some Halloween, 4th of July, and a bunch of other events, but they're usually on a smaller scale than other cities, which is, again, one of the reasons that I love Lake Helen so much. Something else that I think makes Lake Helen special is its next door neighbor, Cassadaga. Now, Cassadaga is a small, unincorporated community that's big on psychics and mediums. While that's not my thing, if you want someone to read your palm and predict your future, it could be the place for you. It's got the same feel as Lake Helen, with many of its little streets wrapped around one of the many lakes in the area. Sinatra's is a great little restaurant in there, and that hotel is pretty cool. There is really much more to Lake Helen than I've noted here, and some of this is important. So take just a quick second and put your thoughts in the comments section below so that this entire community can benefit. Here are a couple other videos that may help you learn a little more about this area. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.